och så löser jag detta. Och sen så stänger jag tillbaka och sätter på den igen och sparar, så är det klart sen då.
Ja.
Ja, okej. Tack för hjälpen.
Ja, hej.
Hej.
Ho, ho, ho. I'm here. And it is my first stream with 0 viewers. I'm the only one present. And here we have G-Plate. This magnificent program for, as a friend asked, if it has volcanoes. It does have volcanoes, but the volcanoes in this program are not very exciting. Oh, someone else is watching. What is this? Hello. Welcome to G-Plates. So this software, for those who don't know it, is geography simulation software, where you essentially normally have the Earth, and then you go back through Earth's history to see how different things moved and how different things behave. But in the fantasy and science fiction, I guess, world building community, you instead use it to sort of simulate movement and behavior. So, for example, up here to the, I don't think you see my mouse. No, you don't, unfortunately. But up to the left, we have time, where it says 1000 MA. And that means 1,000 million years is the time frame that we're using. And we're going to move ahead in history like this. So I've gone ahead and did a little video yesterday where we moved it up to 950. And at least moved 2 continents. This is the very, very basics of plate tectonics. And you could say that we're currently in a sort of Pangea situation here, where we have one supercontinent, we have multiple, all the gray square areas are essentially old ocean crust that has been created from a mid-ocean ridge, like the one in the middle of the Atlantic, for example, is the biggest ocean ridge on Earth, and stretches across large parts of the Earth, and we have a similar one in the middle of this gray area, essentially. But that one is irrelevant for the simulations that we're going to be doing. And we're simulating a Pangea-like continent that will break apart from what is probably volcanic activity or large igneous province activities, breaking it apart here in the triple junction here we see at the middle. So we're going to create some, here at 1,000 million years before, we're going to create some lines that are the breaking points of it, and I will show you a little bit of how it works. But I'm not going to do tutorials. There are great tutorials for G-plates. World building pasta is the primary one, and an Irishman called Artifection has done a very nice video tutorial of the stuff World Building Pasta has made. We're just going to start off by creating a polyline tool here. So you do everything by hand. This is not a program that does anything for you. It's not one of those nice like things where you just put in some entries and it starts. No, I thought it was that at the start when I started working with it, but it turns out that no, here you do everything on your own. Let's see, create feature. And this is, what is it? It's a rift, continental rift, spreading rift, no. So there's a whole lot of different categories of things that behave slightly differently, I think. Is it? Oh, let's use continental rift. It's going to be half stage rotation between number 300, which is the purple one here to your left on the big screen, and right plate ID is number 1000, I think, which is the purple one. Let's see here. Continental rift. Center line, begin time of appearance 1000, half stage rotation. And this, anyone watching this makes no sense for most people, but if you have it in the background, you might learn something, or you might just see funny things happen. Let's see, valid time in steps. So wait. Create a new feature collection. These are the collections that hold everything. You see them on the bottom here. We have a new feature collection. We will call it rifts. And we save it. We will make rifts be red in color. Set draw style single color. Red. And there we have our little rift. We can mark it. We have it here. And you can see here that the rift will keep itself between the two continents where the rifting is happening. So it will keep showing the center of the rift between these two continents. So this is what will be creating ocean later on, because that's how tectonics work. When a continent splits apart, what comes up from below is not land. What comes up from below is sea, and you could generally say that most of what's going on Earth is just sea being created and eaten up again. Continents are slowly built on by volcanic matter and so on, but most of the time it's just the same continents floating around while there's a lot of sea being created and pulled down again. So let's make another rift here. This is a rift between these two continents, and I believe that's number 300 and 200 and 400. Continental rift, 300, 400, continental rift. Rifts, create and save all changes. And then the final one, the longest one that splits the continent in the biggest part, starts off here at so-called triple junction, which is almost always how the big continents sooner or later split apart, because there will be a lot of long cracks in continents where they are weak, and then at some point something happens that just splits them into three. It's very unusual, if I remember correctly, that they split into two, at least when they split in this way. Later on, parts break off, but they're not really a big continent splitting into two when that happens. This one is between 600, which is the right plate there, the one of the purple ones, and then it should be number 800, which is the red one, I think. Create and save all changes. Let's see if these behave as they should. They do. The very spiky thing down here isn't really realistic. I think I'm going to change this a little bit, change the polygons a little bit. So, no, that was a mistake. It was not meant to be. Let's move this polygon as well, make the crack a little more natural. It's still a bit intense. We can survive. Like that. Now it will not be as sharp of an edge. And we can track these features through time. And they will remain even as things start rotating around and so on. These mid-ocean ridges will remain vaguely in this area and feed new ocean onto the continents. So for example, if you take most of North America and South America have a lot of ocean to their right that has been created from the mid-Atlantic, while on their left they're sort of pushing out and being much more clumped up with high mountain ridges on the west side of the Americas. Okay, so now the only thing that remains with these is to take the southern continent here, which is continent 900, I believe, and we're going to rotate it, or we're going to move it. And you would think that this program, you just drag something, but you really don't. So right now it's going to move. Let's see how fast these are moving. I think that is Control-Shift-K. This is moving 6 plate 80, 6 kilometers. No, 3.8 centimeters a year. That left one is moving. Shift Command K, plate ID 400 is moving 3.1 centimeters a year, which is a good amount. That's a good continental drift. And then we are going to move this almost directly to its south. It's not going to do much curving. I think we're going to curve it a little bit to the left. So now, right now, it's like moving a little bit to the left. Now we're going to let's change the view to globe view instead. Okay. There we have a faster moving. I think it's a bit too little. It needs to be 950 here. And apply rotation. What does that give us? Oh no. Mr. Craton here does not move with the other Cratons. We'll have to fix that in the program, but right now you can see how it moves slightly faster from. So if we go back to 950, click here, see how fast it's moving. This is Craton number 800 or so. Is it not moving at all? About 900. 1.2. Oh. Okay, it's moving too slow. Because it's mostly the others moving. So let's mark this. Let's move the pole here. Let's rotate it down a bit. Okay. There we go. Now we have to solve why Craton 1000 and Craton 700 are not moving with the others. So we're gonna go into what is called a rotation file. You will not see this on the screen, but it's a file with a bunch of text. And number 1000 and number 700 needs to move with 1000 needs to move with 800. Oh, right. And then 700 needs to move with 900. And 800 also needs to move with 900. Sorry for the little interruption here. 800. Right, we are now attaching all of these. And let's reload in the program. Let's get the feature collection, we'll reload rotational file, and they all have moved accordingly. It's 950, this is where we're at. Oh, why did it move further? Oh. This is what happens if we make a tiny mistake. Suddenly things have rotated away from us. Okay, now we can run another simulation here. Shark bait. And I noticed something. These beautiful little continental rifts need to be extended because the rift, of course, splits apart the ocean as well. So we're gonna split some ocean here. Like that. And up here it's gonna split a lot of ocean. So it will follow this. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, not quite. But you know. Let's change the raster of here. Now we can make it more correct. There. Sitting here, streaming on my own. Let's correct this one as well. And then the final one. Split into the water. There. Now we have nice ridges that will be creating new ocean as our planet splits apart. Now let's see. Sorry, just had to communicate a little bit. And now back to G-plates. So what's going to happen here? We're not done with everything yet because we're going to mark out some. We're going to mark out some more subduction zones. So you see these blue lines here. They are called subduction zones, and they are essentially where ocean from out here is going to be eaten up as these continents expanded. As more ocean is being created between them, ocean will be eaten up in other places, or subducted as the correct term is. So that we're going to make another polyline. The polyline tool. We're creating a subduction zone here, and in the places where you see the subduction zone follow the coastline quite closely, those will be very, very old Andean mountain style regions where a long, long time ago there was a lot of push from the ocean onto that, or they will become Andean mountains as these push outward. And this is a subduction zone. By plate ID 900. Subduction zone, save all changes. All right, so these subduction zones will follow these and eat up. And you see these territories here where they will be splitting apart. These will not automatically become subduction zones. The area in between the two subduction zones, they will become transform boundaries where it's neither being eaten up or changing in any other way. So we are going to try something here. Go back to 1000, mark this, center line, clone feature, create a new feature connection. We're gonna save it as guides. Save all changes. And then here, clone. Guides. And guides will be used to create a topology, but I don't really know how topologies work yet, so we're going to not show guides yet. All right, there should be some old mountains. We don't have them. I'm gonna do something called flow lines. So we mark this one, copy geometry to digitize tool, create points, and we will do a flow line, which will be tracking motion. So we're going to track motion between plate number 300 and plate number 900. Flow line. This is how we can see how it looks when things move, essentially. Spreading center. Add time in steps of 10 from 1,000 million years ago. So this is how small arrows it's going to be, essentially, to show each little segment of movement. We save this as flow lines, and let's hope it exists. Boom, 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 boom. Magic. We have flow lines showing how the continent has moved and how it has moved relative to the mid-ocean ridge in the middle. Glorious. All right, we will do the same over here. Boom. No, that's not that one. Continental rift, because that's what we base it off. copy geometry to digitize. We click on this digitize new multi-point geometry to the left. Create feature, flow line. And this time it's between plate 200. Not that it matters that much, but and 400. We have times already. Right, yes we do. Flow lines, save. What do we get? Beautiful. And you can see here that these have a different kind of motion, where one of them is rotating around an axle more than just drifting apart. So this continent right here is the one rotating the most, I think. Yeah, it looks like those are more bent than the ones of this continent B. So continent A, B, C is what we're naming them. And then finally, let's repeat it again to get the third set of flow lines. Copy tool to digitize. Digitize new multi-point. Left plate ID 400, 600 and 700. Boom. Flow lines, create and save. Save feature. And we have a beautiful, beautiful flow line state. So this is the very first breaths of what will hopefully be a simulated world once we're way into the future. We have the first split of the Pangaea, and if we look at it, the idea is that this continent here is going to go over here somewhere. This continent here is going to go over here, and this continent here is going to pass the South Pole, and they're all going to crash into each other on the other side. But meanwhile that is happening, of course, they might split apart a bit, they might lose some parts of them. We might have an India situation where one of them cracks a little bit, and so forth. So even if the ideal is that they all meet on the other side, we will see if we discover any cool ideas what might happen. So just as a very crazy idea, I'm just going to take them and see what it would look like if we just moved them far, far into the future. Like some 200 million years later. Just gonna go flying across the earth. Way over here. And you see the flow lines are gonna be completely messed up, but that doesn't matter right now. This one goes flying across the South Pole. Yes, you have to have the sound effect. This one goes flying around the South Pole. See, supernatural. And this chap right here. Oh no, I'm starting to use artifaction words here. He keeps saying chap about all continents. I've watched his content too much. This one sends them flowing over here. Pop, 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 pop. Definitely looks like this one is the one craziest. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so two of them are in the North Pole and the South Pole. But I mean, it's not terrible. Let's make a little animation of that just to see how crazy it would be. I'm not gonna actually move them this way, but And here we reach the end of our planned movement stage at 950. And we could see they changed direction there because I wasn't so meticulous when I decided how they were going to move. They are moving away from each other, right? Well, this one's now rotating a bit wildly. This one's still moving away, but this one is almost just spinning on the spot we see here. That one is the problem. And that is the good thing about flow lines. Like, flow lines really show how their movement, like no continent would do this. It wouldn't just be spinning around its own axle like this. Well, this continent has just been moving fairly straightforward. This, well, it's a globe, so this one is more forgivable. Yeah. But this one is definitely not forgivable. Like this looks messed up. So let's pretend that we were keeping this. I'm just going to try to show how we would try to make it a little more neat. So we will move this thing. All right, let's rotate this one a little more on its own axle, just to make it a little better. Ah, it's still terrible. Where could it have gone? Could probably have gone. Let's say that we move it this instead. It still does a weird rotation here. Why does it do that? All right, that's at the very start it does that. So we would have to adjust it somewhere in this step. So it doesn't just go away from the purple one, but actually goes away from. So let's take this thing. Just pull it out over here. All right, there we go. Now this one is completely messed up, but you get the point. We'd have to so make a rectangular view of this, and we can see the continents go bananas across the world. But it's also because it's like a round world, so there's no way to make things not rotate weirdly when it's a round world. All right, we're not going to keep these 700 movements though, but I'm going to fix that in the rotational file. So back to normal. Back to our 950 rotation. All right, that concludes our first little tryout movement. We have created some rifts. We have finished the animation of one of them. We have created flow lines to follow their movements. And next time, I think we're going to move a couple million years forward, maybe move them in new directions, maybe split something off. This was mostly a little test to get started with streaming some Tectonics and talking to myself. Thank you for watching, I guess, in retrospect, or like if someone watched in the future, then you're welcome. My very first video on what will surely become a journey of world domination. At least this world will be dominated by my G-plate movements.